There's no shortage of flashpoints out of round 3, and as we head towards gather round, we've tossed them all in the furnace.
We're not playing a brand at the moment that's anywhere near the footy we know we can play. So we're not hiding from it. I've said right the way through, you're never that good and you're never that bad. And at the moment, unfortunately, we're not that bad.
He had a poor final series. He plays one good game every 8. I know he's on a big contract, but he's just not physical and not competitive enough.
It's just horrible. Is there a feeling of acceptance now? And I know they're a young group and there's a few older veterans, but has that just infiltrated their psyche now? Guys, is this just their lot? Is this now what they accept?
The incident or allegation became so heated and so potentially divisive during the week, but by the time club bosses think they got to the bottom of it, too much damage had been done.
I've been involved in footy for over 20 years, and most of the things you deal with in football over my time has been non-football. So it's just one of those things.
I say to the players regularly, if you play for them, you don't deserve them. Once you become that, then you need to never whinge to an umpire again, and you need to just play the right way, and you'll get the free kicks you deserve in time. They have 2 sets of rules. It's as simple as that. The guy with the long sleeves gets nothing.
She's a pretty hot furnace right now, so we play a little bit of real overreaction out of that, Dermot. Jack Ginnivan has to change his ways.
Yeah, sort of real. He does have to change his way because we know that he's made a rod for his own back where his height is at a certain level, he gets the ball and a player comes to attack him, tackle him, and he lowers into them by bending his knee and he raises his arm so that tackling arm does slide up over the neck. That is real. Unfortunately for Jack yesterday, if you go for the ball on the ground, you have to have your head down. You are entitled to go down and have your head over the ball and stay there for a second or a half second and drive for it. You are entitled to do that because the onus then is on the tackler before you've got the ball. He's got to sum up where your head is at. You're going for the ball. He stayed down there and they came in. So I think there were 2 tackles yesterday he was completely and utterly stiffed on.
Yes.
Because he was down going for the ball. The thing that the umpires saw was while he was down, taken high, incorrectly, should have been a free kick, and then what he does is he thinks to himself, I'm going to make sure the umpire sees this, and the tackle lingers, lifts his arm, and the tackling arm can't go anywhere under there. And the umpire sees that, and that's where I reckon the real reaction is, that he needs to change his action a little bit so the umpires don't see that, because he had a few yesterday, those 2, which definitely were free kicks.
Yeah, so the AFL has conceded that. They've been in touch with Hawthorn today, and this was how Laura Kane explained it.
We've assessed all tackles, I guess you could call it, or contests that involve Jack Ginnivan, and it's fair to say that a couple of those probably weren't officiated correctly and we missed a few. But we've spoken to Hawthorn and reiterated, as we did in 2022 to all clubs, that we don't want players to lead with their head. And importantly, what players do when being tackled or receiving contact, such as putting their arms in the air or an arm in the air without the ball, can make it really difficult to adjudicate. So what I want to be really clear on is that we don't have a different set of rules for a player. We don't have a different set of rules for a club or a team, and we officiate our games all the same way within the rules.
I wonder what happens next when Collingwood and Hawthorn meet here on Sunday.
Be very interesting. Keen to see that one. Jared, for you, the Crow season rides on the result Thursday night.
You might be prepared to taunt the locals, but I'm here all week. No, that's an overreaction. The 0 and 3. I'm not going to put it all on the line against Melbourne because I think, on merit, they're probably going to be on the wrong end of that. After that, it's Carlton, Essendon, North Melbourne and Port. So you run the rule and go, could they get themselves to 3 and 5? And to be viable, I think they'll have to find a way to 3 and 5. This is much more about finding some cohesion and finding some individual form. And that won't happen in a heartbeat. So they need to be far better against Melbourne on Thursday night, take a read out of that, and then see if they can parlay that into something more successful. But we're desperate to put the line through teams very early in the season. 0-4 would be a shocking place to be, but I won't dismiss them. We called this game together on Thursday night. I think we were equally appalled by Eric Hipwood. Should he be dropped? He should be dropped.
Overreaction for me. His form was really bad, dismal, but it's an overreaction when you drop somebody on one game. Yeah, his body language, the way he attacked the footy, the way he didn't hang on to the footy was terrible, but that's an overreaction. Play 2 or 3 like that and it's real.
You give him this one before you drop him?
He'll have copped that one already, right. I reckon, yeah. Okay, Jared, the Eagles are a problem for the game.
Yeah, that's real. But again, they've only played 3 games so far this season. Surely they're not going to be like this for 23 games. So I know that we're leaping to, well, are we going to give them assistance and lift them up? Or, hey, fight your way through it. Be a bit better than this. So they haven't played games that we expected them to win. They played Port here, then they played the Giants, who we feel like might be the best team in it, and then the Bulldogs, and they couldn't be competitive for more than a quarter. So their games are awful, don't get me wrong. I had a ban at one stage last year of watching their games. I'm on the brink of reinstituting that until they change. So come on, get to it. We're 3 games in. It's a long season. They have to be better than they are now before we start to get to the business of handouts.
Who do they have a chance against?
The lower reaches, the teams who will declare themselves in the bottom 6. I wouldn't put your money on them at this stage, but let's wait to see something in their own weight division. The off-field can easily infect the on-field.
That's an overreaction. We saw from Melbourne this past round that didn't affect them. They came out and won. So I reckon that's an overreaction.